This is Tara, the Geeky Hostess, and I'm here with Dikla from Have Growler Will Travel, an amazing beer blog, an amazing beer blog and blog. We are in Cafe Mox, which is an amazing bar where you can come in, play some games from the neighboring card kingdom, and have some really great beers. And we're going to try some especially geeky beers today that Dikla has put out for us.
Thanks, Tara. Yeah, the wonderful thing about being a nerd in Seattle is that there are a lot of great options for not just game stores, but geeky beers that lots of local breweries make. We're going to try a couple of locals and a couple of out-of-town breweries, and yeah, it's pretty much what we've got lined up here. We've got a couple of different styles, and all of these are going to go for different foods and also for different times of the year. Kind of depends on what you're in the mood for, maybe what you're providing the beer for. If you're providing them for a game party, if you're providing it for your normal D&D night, it's going to be a little bit different just depending on your beer style tastes and also kind of what you're aiming to do.
Let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been looking at these beers for a while. We're really excited to try them.
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of go from lighter to darker, and our first beer is a Kolsch style, though it's a little bit a takeoff of the Kolsch style with added ginger. It's the Fea's Gold, which we actually have behind us on tap here at Cafe Mox. It's made by Odin Brewing, which is a wonderful local brewery here in Seattle. They're located in the south part of Seattle, and they make several beers that you can either find on tap at your local beer bar or obviously at Cafe Mox, and then they also bottle some of their beers. So if you do like their beers that you've maybe had on tap before, you can also buy them in 22-ounce bottles. They have a couple of different styles. Their most popular is probably the Odin Gift, which is a ruby beer, and then they also have Thor's Equinox, which is a Belgian style beer.
Perfect for all those Marvel movie nights.
Absolutely. As you can tell, all of their beers are sort of themed based on the gods. So we've got Odin's Thor and we've got Fea's Gold. So let's try this one first, and it's going to be a Kolsch beer. So Kolsch's are light in style. It's going to be a really good summer beer. Not very hoppy, pretty smooth, very drinkable. Usually this is a good beer if you're having maybe a barbecue or an especially long D&D night and you need fortifications.
Yeah. It tastes like summer in a glass.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
It's really light, weedy, nothing too heavy. As you can see, it's nice and clear. So that's Fea's Gold. And you can definitely taste the ginger, which is actually very refreshing.
It really is.
Yeah. Our second beer that we have is the Dragon's Breath, and this is from a brewery in Montana. You're not going to normally be able to find this on tap, but you should be able to find it in some of your local beer shops, bottle shops.
It's amazing.
And this is actually what they've named a dark Hefeweizen. You also might have heard the term Dunkelweizen. It's take on the Hefeweizen style, but it's a little bit darker. As you can tell, it's non-filtered, so it's not clear. It's very cloudy, and you can kind of taste that non-filtered greeniness usually in a dark Hefeweizen. So this is very good. This is also not a very heavy beer, pretty light.
Pretty heavy compared to what we just tried.
Absolutely, but Hefeweizens tend to be very flavorful. There's usually a little bit of banana flavor to it, sometimes a little bubble gum. So sometimes it's a little fruitier almost in comparison to a lot of other beers. So
Hefeweizen's a favorite of mine. I feel it's a favorite for a lot of people who don't do a lot of beer drinking, that need something a little bit easier. And with a name like Dragon's Breath, it would make an amazing host or hostess gift if you're going over for a D&D night. I feel like it's absolutely killer for that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, with a name like Dragon's Breath, it's it's hard to resist, and it is actually very, very tasty. So that's going to be our second recommendation. And again, only in the bottle. So if you're looking around at a local bottle shop, you should be able to find it. And then our third beer is the Hobgoblin. And the Hobgoblin is actually made in England, and it is a dark English ale. So it's also a little bit darker, slightly darker than the last beer that we tried. English ales are usually very palatable, not a lot of hops in a lot of English ales. Actually, none of our beers that we picked out are particularly hoppy. So if you're not a fan of hoppy beers, these would all be great choices.
It's really sweet. It seems almost a little bit caramel. Am I right? I'm
absolutely very
new to beer tasting.
Very caramely, very sweet. English ales tend to have sort of that more rich body to them. Also, again, it's not a very thick or heavy beer, but definitely on the sweeter side. So if you do tend to like sweeter beers, that would be a good choice. And again, Hobgoblin, you can't go wrong for a D&D night with something like that.
I feel like to reward your players after they just looted the boss, I feel like, you know, head back to their local tavern and have a nice bottle of that.
Absolutely, definitely a tavern beer. And then lastly, we have our darkest and thickest, richest beer on the menu, and that's going to be our Dragon Tooth Stout. Again, that one's also behind us here, made by a local brewery called Elysian. They have several breweries around town. Their original brewery is over on Capitol Hill, and they make several beers actually that have sort of a geeky theme to them. They also have an IPA that's called Be Immortal. The Dragon Tooth has a beautiful dragon on the label. So this is going to be another really good beer, or if you like some of their other styles better, it's a great way to kind of incorporate that more fairy tale or fantasy type theme to any one of your game nights or D&D.
Definitely.
But the Dragon Tooth for sure is not for the lighthearted beer drinker.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
It's very hearty. It's a classic stout, so it's going to be really rich and heavy, lots of flavor. Not everybody likes the flavor of a stout. It's going to be pretty dry. Again, not particularly heavy on hops, but definitely it's end of the night kind of beer.
Yes.
Or for something that you're really craving to go with something sweet, it would be great. Be actually perfect, and we've had this recommended to us by some of the staff here as a beer float. So if you're having a party and it's geeky themed, be a perfect dessert.
I mean, that's a much more unique way to do a float than root beer or a soda.
Sure. And stouts also incorporate really well into cakes, cupcakes, so that's a great way to add some uniqueness to something that you might be baking for a party.
Awesome. Well, we are going to keep drinking some of these beers, and we're going to have some of these amazing little grilled cheese bites from Cafe Mox. Make sure if you are in the Seattle area, you check out Cafe Mox. Like I said, they sell board games, card games here. You can come. They have private areas you can rent out, or you can just pull up a seat in the bar and start a game with some of the people that you meet here. And their food and their beers are amazing, and you've got to check it out. I'll post some links below to information on some of the more unique beer shops in Seattle as well, so if you are looking for one of these bottles, you can probably find those there. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoy.